And good morning. Can you believe it's Monday all over again? And this may shock you. It's March the 10th. And if somehow you overlooked it, we've moved our clocks 1 hour ahead. 6:30 right now as we begin this day together. Some of us lost a little bit of sleep over the weekend due to that yesterday morning. You may have been a little off on your time if you didn't do that. Most of mine are automatic, meaning, well, cell phones. Everything on the clock wall is probably wrong. Matter of fact, it looks wrong from here. We'll have to work on that again. Good morning. How are you doing? It's raining. Before you leave the house today, make absolutely sure to carry you an umbrella. We got lots of showers going on right now throughout the area. As we quickly glance at radar, this is what we're showing here. If you live south of here, we got a little bit just west of Shibuya and a little in the eastern side of Clark County. As we zoom in a little bit closer here, if you'll look here, what we've got going on in Jasper County, moving toward Enterprise. Heavy rain there around Rose Hill this morning, if you're going through there. And as we get into Lauderdale County, this northern end, there's light rain everywhere. As you make it to Meridian, we got some showers there at Highway 45, Industrial Park. And as you go northward here on Highway 493, lots of rain there at the split of 493, 495 up to the Bell South old building there. Y'all remember that up by the Hughes Telephone Company, out by the North Lauderdale Water Association. Light showers in most places. And here's what we got is a 70% chance of showers through at least 8 a.m. this morning. Here's the bad part. We will get to 69, but we'll have those gusts of 25 miles an hour today, which means as bad as you want to, stay away from the matches. We don't need any more runs with the fire department, do we? It just gets out of hand quickly, and you can't control it. We got so much going on today. We've got some political things going on this morning. All week, we'll have political guests swing by and ask for your bid for your vote. As we near the elections coming up in Meridian. It will be here before you know it. We've got that and so much more. Right now, let's go to Collinsville. Let's get a good word to shake all the bad stuff off and get a good direction for today.
When I was a kid, I basically lived in the very same place all my life. However, when I became an adult and graduated high school, I began to make some big moves. College took me 4 hours away from my hometown there in South Central Kentucky to Southeast Indiana at Hanover College. After my wife Christy and I married, a part-time youth pastorate took us back near my hometown there in Kentucky. A couple of years after that, though, seminary took us back north to the big city of Louisville in north central Kentucky. But then about a year after that, my first full-time youth pastorate took us to western Kentucky near the town of Hopkinsville. 3 years later, my first preaching pastorate took us to Middle Tennessee near Smithville. And then 6 years later, my second preaching pastorate took us back to my hometown in South Central Kentucky. And then 8 years after being there, now here I am in East Central Mississippi. Man, I've moved quite a bit. And with each of these moves, it meant leaving behind people that I really had grown to love and people who really love me, especially who love my wife and kids. These people made a huge impact on my life. My wife and I often have said, don't you just wish you could take a handful of folks along with you when you leave a place? As you move along from place to place, a little piece of your heart stays behind. For those of you who've moved, haven't you found that to be true? That's the basic sentiment that Apostle Paul is expressing to the people he had left behind in the church at Thessalonica. He tells them there in 1 Thessalonians 2:17, "But since we were torn away from you, brothers, for a short time in person, not in heart, we endeavored the more eagerly and with great desire to see you face to face." These people had made an impact on his life, and he longed to see them again face to face. I wonder, are you living the kind of life that would cause people, after a move, to long to see you face to face again? Are you making the kind of impact on people that imprints you on their heart such that even though the distance in miles grows, the affection never fades? Life may have torn you away from that people in that place in person, but there's no way you could be torn away from their heart. Beloved, I believe we should all strive to be that kind of people, the kind of person who's missed greatly when people move on. May you live that kind of life, the kind of life that causes people to long to see you face to face again. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Collinsville. They'll be opening up for services on Wednesday. Drop in and see Brother Ben. Nice church. They're good people. I hope you'll visit with them. Doug Thomas, good morning. Lake Edens checking in this morning. Miss Diane is there. Mark, Levi, I see you. Becky, so glad to see each and every one of you. Over the last, I don't know, this has been going on a long time. I don't know how many years to put on it, but I know heavily over the last administration, how many times have we watched on the news to where, people that attend colleges take over a university and protest, take over buildings, burn things, have encampments. Well, I got a feeling that is coming to an end. There was a threat made, and we're learning that they're not really threats from the White House anymore. If they say it, it's coming. Over the weekend, Senator Marco Rubio released a statement that the Trump administration had arrested the leader of a pro-Hamas Columbia University riot. The guy that started it, he's been arrested. What are they going to do? They're going to start revoking every one of these that's arrested, their visa and green cards. If you support Hamas, try to take over a university, you are out of the United States. It started. Columbia. This is one of the first that's happened since he took office. They're going to be deported. We're not taking it. And again, this has been going on for quite some time. We see this, was at UCLA. It's not anything going on there right now, but I can remember all these protests that go on. They want to protest this, that, and the other. You're there to learn an education. And if you're from another country causing all of this, you should go home. It's happening. I support that. I've never thought much about this, but keeping up with horses is a big deal. Being the cowboy guy is a tough one. I was reading a story here, and this is in Wyoming. It's a guy that has over 2,500 horses. What does he do? He provides horses to dude ranches. He cares for them year-round. It's one of the biggest horse ranches there are around in Wyoming. That's got to be a tough job, keeping up with all that, keeping the stock in good shape. Well, they're cowboys. They're doing it. The American dream is not done yet, is it? Like those cowboys. Here's New Zealand. Boy, they're not taking any chances there. They fired their senior envoy to the United Kingdom. New Zealand did. He was kind of like their ambassador to the United Kingdom. He had what do they call it in other countries when you run your mouth too much? A run-off over mouth, something like that. He ran down Trump. They immediately fired him. They don't want to take any chances, I take it there. Here's something as we look at Kristi Noem. She was the governor of South Dakota. Y'all remember who I'm talking about? Very tough one. Stands her ground. She is preparing 3 people to be prosecuted, sent to federal prison. They worked for the government. They were leaking information. We go back. Do you remember those raids that were coming from ICE? They were slipped from the government, from an agency, somebody that worked there. She's found 3 of them. She expects them to go to prison. That hasn't been done in a long time, has it? This will cause quite a bit of, I'm not going to do that anymore. We've just really had some things happen over the last 20 to 30 years. It's been a gradual takeover. We saw that back in 2020, 2016, where everything that was done was released to the public. It's not happening anymore. People are stepping up and taking America back. Now, I don't know as much about this as I probably should, but I do see some of the headlines coming out of this. Utah, and we don't hear a lot about Utah. They kind of stay to themselves. We do, one of the headlines that come out of there, we see all those TV shows to where people are married to 10 wives. That's pretty common there, I think. But the legislature there now controlled by the Republicans, a change coming to voting. And I'll read you what they've got here. They've got a proposal requiring voters to opt in to receive their mail-in ballots. What they're doing now in Utah is if you've ever asked for a mail-in ballot, you automatically get it. They're going to drop that. You would have to request that. And you would have to show ID to do any of that, even to vote. I truly, nationwide, when it comes to federal elections, I don't see how we can't have one program nationwide as to how you vote and how the votes are tallied. It really can be counted in one night. I don't understand that. We can do so many things. They can pull you over for a driver's license check, a ticket. They know everything about you in 3 seconds. there's no way that we can't do this with voting. And local elections are one thing, but when it comes to federal elections, I don't see how you can't have one blanket, this is the way it's done. All states abide by the same thing, and votes are counted quickly. I'm sure you'd be trying to be laughed out of Washington if you propose something like that, but we really should move toward that. That's my opinion. Bob says Salt Lake area, very, very liberal. I don't know much about there. I hadn't been through there. Do you remember that Cheeto? And it just goes again, and I've talked about this once or twice, the Cheeto that went up for auction that looked like a Pokemon. A Cheeto. We said expected to bring a lot of money. It did. Somebody with $87,000 bought it. ABC News reporting that $87,000 for a Cheeto that looked like a character. That's a lot of money. I'll leave it at that. Over the weekend, a man was shot near the White House, brandished a gun, got into an argument with Secret Service agents. He was taken out. I have not received the name of who that is, but it was about a block away from the White House. He had parked his car and made threats. He had issues, so to speak. Drove a long way there. He was taken out. Let's see here. As we start to really crack down on who's in America and what they're doing, we see that a guy's been caught after 40 years on the run from Puerto Rico. He escaped a prison in Puerto Rico. As they're doing checks, they found this guy. He's being shipped back now to Puerto Rico. Interesting, isn't it? This is New York, and it doesn't make sense. The guy was there when they arrested him. He broke into several homes, and he broke into a couple's home, killed both the men, and was still sitting there when authorities arrived. A co-worker noticed they had not shown up to work. They went to check on him. The guy was still there. He had a weapon in his hand trying to take his own life. He was taken into custody. Who will be charged with the murder of these two men. Boy, France, did y'all see this over the weekend? And this is, 2025? World War II was a long time ago. But they found a device that was set to detonate back in World War II under the tracks. It did not. It was still there. They shut down all trains for the day. It took quite a time to get it removed. It didn't. They were able to get it out without any problems. That's been there a long time. You think of that, trains going over that every day. Bad, bad, bad. But everything was safe. That's good news there. Let's see what else is happening this morning. This will, and I've often said this, and I think a few of you who have would agree with this. We often have youth that are wandering in America, have no sense. They sometimes graduate high school and parents let them sit around the house for the next 5, 6 years, no job, whatever. Poland, we'll start there. Maybe it will catch on. Poland, as it used to be in the United States, will require all adult men military training. We used to have that where you turned 18, you went to boot camp for 6 weeks. It was a pause, and you learned a little something. It may be time for that again in America. We've grown soft, haven't we? If nothing else, it'll teach them how to run and how to fix a bed. We'll see what becomes of that. Daylight saving time, as we mentioned, is here. Check those clocks. Make sure that you're going to be on time for work today. We don't want you to show up a little off on the time there. Man, it's tough there. I woke up yesterday bright and early, and it was way earlier than I expected. Horrible as we see this. Did you see this where the Florida teen was kidnapped and dismembered?
Oh, no.
She was 16, a 35-year-old man done it. We won't go into all of the gruesome details of what happened to that young lady, but she was murdered. They've made an arrest.
That was their first mistake.
Yeah, awful, awful. We also see, as we go to New Jersey this morning, a 14-year-old has been arrested after wounding one officer and killing another in a shootout. 14 years old. They've arrested. Yeah, I number one, I don't see how you could do it, but I guess there's talented people in this world. We go to Big Ben Y'all know what I'm talking about? Oh, the clock, that huge one there. A guy scaled it with just his hands and feet with a Palestinian flag and hung on the side of it for 16 hours. He was arrested after firefighters finally got him down, and he waved his flag as they lowered him. I would think you could take that flag away on the way down. He was trying to make a statement. That's what he was after the entire time. He's been arrested, caused a lot of havoc, and no telling what the cost of shutting down that area was for 16 hours. 8 people injured after someone rammed their car in California to a CarMax business. Why would you do that? 8 people injured, though. Let's see, Myrtle Beach, there was and we have a lot of these going on right now. We've had them here, actually not big on these scales, but Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a woman has been arrested in connection with the wildfire. 2,000 acres was burned. We also had a brush fire. Have you seen this? Long Island. Somewhere around 400 acres has burned. 80% of it is contained right now as officials try to get this put out. My, oh, my, oh, my. Let's see what else is happening here. This is going to make a difference as we try to see ceasefires happen. We do hope for peace to happen with Gaza, Hamas, Israel, all these areas. Israel has cut off power to Gaza. It's going to get some attention. We wait to see what goes on with all of this. We'll be right back with your weather forecast here in just a moment. What is the weather going to do for the week? We've got all those details next. A few of the headlines shaping America there. We'll be right back.
Collinsville, Mr. Discount Drugs, your local pharmacy and gift shop, thanks you for your continued support. Whether you shop with us in-store, through our app, over the phone, or in our drive-thru, our team will provide the best personalized customer service experience you expect from your local pharmacy. When you call or message us, you are promptly greeted by the Mr. Discount team that's ready to help. When you choose our pharmacy, you're choosing a locally owned pharmacy that cares about you and your community. Collinsville, Mr. Discount Drugs makes a difference.
We welcome you to a new vehicle buying experience here at Doc's Toyota. Buying a new vehicle doesn't have to be stressful, but don't just take our word for it.
This was the best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle.
Doc's employees are top-notch.
I drove 2 hours, not once, but twice, to purchase 2 vehicles with a 5-month time frame.
Doc's delivers competitive pricing, a comprehensive selection, and flexible financing options, helping you get on the road from Carthage, Meridian, and beyond. There's a reason why there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Welcome back. As we get into our forecast, let's go back to what happened on this day. Well, the weather. It was 1990. Oh, boy, that was 35 years ago, y'all. It was 85 today back in 90. My, oh, my. Julia was just a baby, we hear. 1932, it was 20. My. That girl is in the studio this morning. We look to find out why she's here. She's got a mission today. She's got something she's got to talk about. Y'all make way for that after the top of the hour. It's going to be sunny later today after all the rain quits and finally clears. We'll have rain at least through 8 o'clock this morning. 70% chance of showers, and that will gradually go away, making way for clearing. As we go to Bama, 66 in Demopolis. We should see 65 there in Birmingham. But look at this as we go over to Auburn into the 50s today. Somewhere around 59 there, War Eagle country. As we see this and as we get prepared for this, I started talking about this last week. Friday, we'll have a level 2 chance of tornadic activity. Saturday, we move into this with a level 3. So we have a couple of days that are going to be pretty rough toward the end of the week. Now, again, we're going to have some ferocious weather there Friday night and increasingly worse as we go into Saturday. We'll have more of a timeline as this storm gets nearer. We're 5 days out on this. A lot can change. It can worsen. It can weaken. We'll be here to watch this. But I will say this. Initially, this was only going to be a level 2, and they've already upped it to a level 3. You'll most likely start seeing people from out of town, all those storm chasers that are famous, making their way through Mississippi and northward in this area, watching where the storms will be. Again, this is coming up Thursday night. Again, we need to look at that also. We'll bring that up this morning. More tornadic activity is projected for the state of Mississippi this season. So it's going to be a tough one. We want you to be safe. Please do. Please do. This is what we're expecting with temperatures to be a little bit warmer as we get into our 7-day forecast. 68 today. As we move into tomorrow, it all changes. 75 for a high tomorrow. 0% chance of rain. Wednesday, 76. And as the week progresses, look at this. By Friday, 81, 75 on Saturday. But that's when we start seeing the really bad weather for our area there, Saturday there. Sunday, we should be 72. Not bad at all. As we go all the way through March the 24th, we'll see nothing less than 68, around 70 to 82. My, oh my, sunshine, a few showers here and there, but great weather. Nothing very cold. Winter may not be over, but right now it's looking good. As we look at the best times to go fishing today, major time is 9:30 this morning to about 11:30. It'll be a great time to go out. Now you got a minor time this afternoon around 3. Keep in mind we've got 25-mile-an-hour gust. That causes a problem with these rod and reels, doesn't it? And your lure, it keeps coming back at you when you cast it. We've all been there. Sunrise at 7:11 this morning. Sunset will happen. Do y'all see this? 6:59, so that means at 7 o'clock it's going to be daylight. For the last few months at 4:30, I wanted to go to bed. It was so dark. 5 o'clock, it was over. Where's my chili? Let me get in the bed. It's getting more daylight. I like that. Again, it's going to be a rough couple of days readjusting to this new timeline, but we can do it. We can pull it off. I'll be ready for that. Already 6:52 as we begin our day. And again, we've got coming up in just a moment, we're going to have the morning show. We're going to tell you of everything that went on. I-20 was shut down last night. Do you know why? We've got the details of that and so much more. We had it in 2 places, in Newton and in Meridian, shut down. It was kind of like you were boxed in for an hour or so there with no way to go. Oh, that's coming. Let's look back at radar here as we show you the showers are starting to get a little bit better as we look at radar. Doc's Toyota radar. Look at that light shower activity, the heaviest of rain that we got right now. Let's look at this. Let's pull this up and show you where this is. This is going to be right out by Northeast High School. Right there, Cotton Gin Road. That's the worst rain that we've got showing on radar right now. Be careful no matter where you are. Approach those stop signs a little bit slower. If your tires are a little worn also, they're going to slide. Be careful. Take a little extra time getting to work when it's wet. We'll be right back. That girl is going to drop by for a visit, as we said. We've got some political folks all week long. Each day we'll have someone dropping by. We'll find out what's going on as the election nears. We'll be right back with the Scotty Ray Report beginning at 7.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.